Did you cover the customer types?
Briefly, I would love you to say whatever you'd like to say, sir. I'll jump back there. So I'm going to go customers, manage customer types. Go ahead, what would you like to say?
Okay, so you guys did cover those.
Just briefly, yep.
Those are, obviously very helpful, especially when you're doing the search, when you're trying to search for different information from the customers. Did you cover the additional customer type information?
Not a whole lot. Would you like to actually run for a second? I'd love to have a break and let you run for a second.
What we can talk about here is the other customer types that we have, and probably the easiest way to see this is to
tap to click has been disabled. There is a mouse there if you want it as well.
okay. If we'll go back to the customer homepage, and then if you go to the advanced customer search, at the very bottom of this page is what we call additional customer contact and addresses. And basically, what I kind of want to touch on about this, because this can be used, this is another one-to-many relationship. So think about your customer and think about another association that you may want with that customer. So I'll give you two quick examples. The first one that I see that's used the most is like a ship-to address. So if you have a company that you're setting up and they look at our invoice and they're like, oh, it looks great, but where's the ship-to address? Because if you look at anything that's generated by QuickBooks or some of the other accounting programs, they have like a billing address and a ship-to address. Well, we eliminate that ship-to address because not every company uses that, so it just takes up extra ink and extra space. But what we do is we allow you to put that in there. So I'd like to show you how to add that onto one of your invoices that you have. So what we'll do is go ahead and go back to one of your customers that you have. So I'm just going to go to the top of the page, and I've been doing a couple other things, so I'm just going to type in an A to see what customers we have in here. And I'm going to choose Charlie Brown right at the top. Then I'm going to go over to the side, and I'm going to go to the log. And I assume you guys have covered quite a bit of the log stuff as well?
We briefly bounced in there.
Okay.
Steve, go for it.
The log is the biggest resource that you have for your customers. At the top of this log page, you're going to have all kinds of history. You're going to have advanced searches. You're going to have invoices that have been completed for year to date or last year. You also have another one on there that's called all invoice items. And basically what that does is it gives you in descending order every item that customer has bought from you. You also can quickly assign this customer to a cart. I don't see the link turned on there, but when you guys get to the scheduling application, which somebody had asked about scheduling or the calendar.
We don't have that permission turned on yet.
Right, so when you get that permission turned on, you'll see another link on there where you can add them to time as well. So that's kind of another one-to-many relationship to the customer. The one that I'm talking about, if you go down to the bottom of this page, what we want to do is we want to go right here where it says additional contact address information. So click on that. Now this is where, if we knew Charlie Brown's
His dog's
name, we could put his dog in. So Sherry, I'll let you go ahead and put that in if you want. You can put his dog in there. Maybe let somebody else just randomly put in something else. Yeah, contact type would be dog. This is where sometimes clients will put in nickname. They'll put in, if it's something to do with medical, they might put in the doctor. They may put in like a mother, father. You can build all kinds of little relationships here. But the other one that I want to show you guys, and I'll maybe Ethan, if you want, type in shipping address in there, or ship to.
In contact, where it says
contact type. That's the only required field, and then the rest is you get to fill in the information.
So just you do ship to address, sure you're doing dog, everybody else just do something else in that. They want to have the shipping address on there so that their couriers or whoever is delivering their product knows exactly where it goes. Because you can have a lot of companies that can have a main address where they want all of their billing to go to, their, like the mothership, and then they'll have their little stores around the state where they're delivering, where they want the product shipped to. So if you click that little box there, which you'll go ahead and click it and then add that, and then once we go back to the log again, and we refresh this log, we're going to see that we have, I guess you haven't added yours yet, right?
It said added.
Yep, it's on there.
Where is it?
I see the dog is on there.
Go ahead and just hit refresh again. What, were you under Charlie Brown? Or were you under a different
Oh,
client?
I don't think
That's-
I was on Charlie
You
Brown.
know what, that's fine, I'm going to go ahead and add it in here.
I was under Barney.
No problem, no problem. So you did add it, it
Yeah,
really did
it's under
take it,
Barney.
but we were under a different client.
Yeah, I
So I'm just going to go ahead and add it in here, and then I'll just add something quickly.
Yeah,
so
it's
you
on
guys can
mine.
see it. It's on his. Okay. So what I did is I added the ship to address, and actually I forgot to click the little box. So I'm going to click the little box here. Oh, I did click it. Okay. So we're good. So now if we, Brandon has a cart open right now. So I think I'm going to have to clear this cart. I'm going to try it. I'm just going to go ahead and assign it to cart, and it did. It brought both of them in. You see that? And if I don't want Snoopy on there, I can just go remove. And now all I have is my ship to address. Now when you look at the printable of this, you know, if we add an item to it, so let me just grab an item here real quick, just to see what you guys have. I'm just gonna randomly add, okay, so we're
He's
still.
probably feeling limited. He's like, where's my advanced added cart?
Yeah, exactly.
We haven't even touched that yet. Like I can see him looking for it right there.
Yeah. So then if I go to the printable cart, see my printable cart, how nice and clean that is? Ship to, and there's the address. Now if you don't click the box and you want to add, you can do that as well. So if I go back to the cart,
It's the quick add multi right next to it.
yeah, so you go to this quick add multi, now I can choose from, and I can say, hey, I want this, or I want this. I can actually build another little one on there if I want, kind of on the fly. So not to get too deep into that,
No,
but
go back one more. How did you get there?
how I got there,
You have to have one customer in your cart before these additional links will even show
Okay.
up, okay?
Got
If
it.
you don't have a customer in there,
It's
you
not there.
won't see it. You have to have one in there.
Got it.
and the reason that this is important too is we have, this is the other example I was going to give you. So we have other clients too that they will have a main customer up here in the corner, and down here what they'll do is they'll add what they call an end user. So as an example, if it's a, I'll just use a finance company as an example. They may do the financing, you know, their customer that they're doing the financing with may be the dealership. But the end user that's actually going to receive the monies and the funding will be the customer at that dealership. So it's, if we're the funding company, it's not really our customer, it would be like Charlie Brown's customer. You know, like if Charlie Brown loans some money to Linus, I could put Linus on there and I could tie that together. And then that relationship exists, so then I could actually go and search Charlie Brown and say, what other customers does Charlie Brown have that we, in conjunction billing Charlie Brown, noted that this was for Linus? Does that make sense? It's a real big one-to-many relationship. And you can extend these down. You can have, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever that you want on there. Shipping address, bill, if they have a different bill to address, you know, sometimes they want the bill to address up there. I mean, it gives you the flexibility of setting a client up so that no matter what they throw at you with that, you can show them how that they can optimize that piece of the invoice for that function. The other thing that I wanted to show you if we go back to the log, so I'm just gonna go ahead and save this cart, save this quote, just so that I've got one that has the ship to address on it, so you can see how nice and clean it is. And then I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna go find another client here and go to the log. So just randomly go back to the log. The other piece that I don't know if you guys have talked about, but have you talked about any of the client log, the customer log down here at the bottom?
Very, very briefly.
Okay, so have you guys added any for that?
One.
I did.
Okay, you did, you added one.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's everybody add another one in there. So just go randomly choose any client you want and let's add a new log entry. And we'll just, I'm just gonna use the log notes in the top. This bottom section is the follow-up. I think you guys talked a little bit about that, but I'm just gonna add one in here.
So just while he's typing real quick, the follow-up notes, what that allows you to do is you could actually set a different date, or even come back and say, hey, my original call was this, and then I finished the job and I did this, or I need to call them in 2 weeks. So you could actually set that date out. And because that date is set, if you were to check your history homepage, when you land on that date, or if you wanted to check it, it's like, hey, just so you know, you need to call Joe today. So
It flags you.
it flags it, it helps you know. It doesn't jump in your face, but if you know where to look for it, there are links that say, what are today's follow-ups? And it'll pull it right up for you.
And then once you have does everybody have a general note or some kind of a little note on there? Okay, what I'd like you to do is go back to your home page by clicking on your logo. And
Logs right above customer.
you can tell I'm not on this page much. Here's our logs. And that's going to take you quickly to, it'll always record the very latest log at the top of the page. And then over on the side, you see where it says Charlie Brown 1? That means that there's one log entry for Charlie Brown within the last 30 days. So this report pulls 30 days. If you wanted additional information, you would go to the Show Hide search, and then you have a form field that opens up that you can add different search criteria to, widen out your dates. You also have quick follow-ups, so if you guys would have put a follow-up in, it would show you today's follow-ups, or you can put a date range in and you can get your follow-ups out of there. The other thing about this page is if you scroll down a little bit and you click on any one of these customers over on this side, it's going to take you to all, back to the log. So like if Charlie Brown had 4 on there and I wanted to see what the other 3 were, because the first one is going to display, if it said 4, there would be 3 underneath Charlie
Somebody
Brown.
actually pull up Charlie Brown and add a quick log note to it.
I just did. We
Okay,
did.
refresh your page.
I messed up.
I did too, I was at
So
Okay.
if I'm in, where's my refresh? I'm in.
F5.
F5 is a keyboard
F5.
shortcut,
Okay.
or you'd have to just look. I'm not sure on the exact button location.
So now we do have 2 log notes under Charlie Brown now. So what we can do is we can just click on Charlie Brown and it will take you back to his log page, and then if we scroll down to the bottom, we see the logs. The other thing I want to point out on this page here, I know we've talked all, the last day and most of today, and we've mentioned one-to-many relationships. This page is full of it, obviously, as you can see. You can have as many additional contact information, you can have as many of these log notes, and by the way, these log notes are unlimited. We use it a lot ourselves when we get an email. I actually just posted a couple of them myself within Adilas on clients. We'll get an email for a request or a change or whatever. We can copy that email and paste it in there real fast and clean it up a little bit, and boom, it saves you a lot of typing. So those fields are unlimited of what you can put in there. The other piece to this is, and you may not have touched on, well, I know Brandon's gonna get to FlexGrid, right?
Steve, go ahead. You are doing wonderful.
I-
If you're okay, I think it's a great change of pace. If you guys are doing
I
this.
think your progression is going really good, but you will have FlexGrid.
So they need a permission. There's no permissions on FlexGrid set up yet.
Yeah, so your FlexGrid is going to also be another one-to-many relationship to this page. If I had to pick one spot that has the most one-to-many relationships, I would probably say that this log page is probably it, because there's so much information going on there. Like I can click right here on this invoice, and obviously it doesn't have any invoices yet, but if you did have, you would have invoices there. You also would have this quotes homepage, would take you to that, and to the quote homepage. But then also you have another link up here at the top that's all your quotes. So there's a quote that was done.
That's just for that particular customer. Okay. So because you're on Charlie Brown's thing, it only shows the quotes that were for Charlie Brown. So it's a way to kind of drill down specifically to their details.
The other one-to-many relationship you have is right here, of course, the photo gallery. So there's 100 right there. There's.
Why don't you just click on that for a second, and when you go to add it, I'll just hit browse, and just go ahead and add any of those pictures right there. Some of those are actually scans that I was using for Adilas expense receipts, but it'll kind of give you the idea. Well, that one hasn't hit target, but.
So then if I go back to the customer log, now I have that little bullseye up there for Charlie Brown. So we could have put his picture or whatever up there.
And you can edit and replace things too if you need to. It's a piece of cake. Also, why don't you do a quick search up at the top, just so you can see where else that little photo. So go up to the top and just type in BROW or something like that. Okay, so Brandon Moore doesn't have one, but Charlie Brown does. And if I clicked on it, it would instantly take you right to the gallery page. Oh, somebody else has added some fun ones too. Actually, if we wanted to see who this was, check this out. Scroll up to the top, Steve, for a second. One, it'll tell you, if you scroll down to the bottom, it'll say, oh, Sherry. Sherry O did that one. But
and also she could have put a caption below that too, so we could have known who it was.
Charlie Brown in disguise.
that does look like Charlie Brown a little bit.
It does.
You guys, I hope that you realize we can only touch the basic surface of some of these things. As you use it, the best thing that can happen is that you have a need. Once you have a need, then you learn how to fill it, okay? If we just say, blah, 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 you can do this and this and this, we're just trying to give you ideas. Once you physically know your need, then you're going to be on task and you're going to be able to go flying.